Hello and welcome. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Andrew, and we're brothers, and this is the Daniel and Andrew Show,
where we give our opinions about movies and TV and really, really, really long movies that we've been watching lately. So, Andrew, how you doing today?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing all right. Just hanging out at home. Another busy week for movies. Barbie having another smash weekend. 42% drop, which is a very good drop because it made 155 million last week and it made like 95 million this week.
I was thinking I was going to drop off like 80%.
I still think I didn't think 80%. I was thinking more like a 60-70% drop because 150 to like 50 million is like an enormous drop, right? But 50 million is still good, you know what I mean? But nope, it held pretty well. Oppenheimer held well too. But yeah, it's crazy. Busy. Drinks at my place. We have a Barbie drink that is we can't make them fast enough. They're selling with a little pink sugar rim on the top. Man, those are selling.
Barbie movie is going to be the number one movie of the summer, isn't it? It's going to be Guardians, right?
It's definitely it's definitely the number one movie of the summer. So, brackets busted, so to speak, for us, for everybody, for anyone. I defy any human to say, oh, yeah, I knew Barbie was going to just blow the doors off. No way.
This
unless you're talking about
like meme
Barbenheimer thing.
Yeah, that whole thing just blew this movie up into oblivion because the movie is not crazy good for it to sell like this, I think.
Well, the thing is the good thing is there's two pretty strong movies coming out, and I think I'm just enjoying that movies are doing well. But the only thing that sucks is that the strike is happening because things, are going to be moved out of this year because you can't do reshoots, you can't do ADR, you can't add things in. So it's going to hurt later. And they can't capitalize on this wave of success. They're trying to do this Saw Patrol thing where there's a Paw Patrol movie and the next Saw movie comes out in September, and now they're trying to pretend like they're gonna like the next Barbenheimer thing is gonna be Saw Patrol, and I was like, no, it's not the same.
This was totally lightning in the bottle. This ain't never gonna happen again.
I know, just dumb people are stupid. Anyway, it's things are being moved out of this year. Sony has as the first studio to blink, and they moved Craven from its, I think it was October or September spot.
It's gonna make diddly, so
they moved it out. Oh, actually, it was going to come out in August. It's moving to August next year from the October this year. Wow. They're really pushing that, and that'll be Labor Day next year. And then Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse that was supposed to come out in March next year, which I didn't think was going to happen.
Yeah,
it is no longer on the release schedule. Yeah.
You can wait 2 years for that.
We could wait a long time for that. Yeah. Who knows? The sequel to Ghostbusters Afterlife has also been pushed from the end of this year to spring of next year. There's a Karate Kid reboot that's going to get pushed, and other little things here and there. But yeah, definitely, I'm sure Sony is not the only one that's going to do that.
Oh yeah, this will be a recurring news basically for us.
Yeah, so we'll see. This. Well, we're definitely in flux on schedule of movies and what we. Well, at some point maybe we'll have to not talk about new stuff because there isn't going to be any new stuff to talk about. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll have to figure it out as we go along here. So speaking of things that came out that got just obliterated by those other two movies, Haunted Mansion came out this week. I went and saw it last night because I just wanted to see a movie. And it was fine. It was the issue with it is the tone is weird because it's Disney, so and it's like for kids, but it's like a horror, and then it's like a comedy, and then there's like these dramatic moments. It was very all over the place, and it didn't know what it wanted to do. Like, so Lakeith Stanfield, by the way, is a great actor. He's the lead in this in Haunted Mansion, and he's dealing with grief the whole time. And they have like these moments, these heartfelt moments all of a sudden, just like, wacky things happen. And then it's just like, and my wife is dead. But it's like, what? It just goes like, and then it's like, zing, here's a joke now. And it's like, what? It was just a lot.
Is it cringy or is it just literally make no sense?
I wouldn't say it was cringy. I laughed a few times. I thought it was actually pretty well made. The set, it was mostly practical sets, like the mansion that they're in, the rooms that they're in. The room actually elongates. Like, it was pretty good, and I think it did a good job of. It hit the nail on the head for the ride, I think. But it doesn't transcend like a Pirates or something. It is what it is. You know what I mean? And honestly, the Haunted Mansion is hokey. Like, that's literally what it is. So I guess it kind of works in that respect. I think everyone did a good job. Owen Wilson's just doing his Owen Wilson thing. Tiffany Haddish doing her Tiffany Haddish thing. Wow. Good job. Wow. And then, Danny DeVito doing his Danny DeVito thing. So, and Jared Leto was a ghost, but he's CGI the whole time. So, like, you didn't even, like, know that it's Jared Leto. He did a good job, but it's like, but yeah, I thought it was fine. I would give it like a 6. If you want to just go out and see a movie and you've already seen the other movies, the other big movies that are out, I would give it a try. I think it was fun seeing it with a crowd, actually getting people's reactions to it. I think if you saw it by yourself, it would be like kind of like me, weird.
Yeah, that makes sense. Say most audiences aren't going to go see this movie. When you got the other two powerhouses, who's got money to see 3 movies every single weekend? It's just, it's either you don't got the time, you don't got the money, or you're, super bored and you see all these movies anyways. So
yeah, I would say if you have like the pass thingy that you'd like the AMC thing,
yeah,
pass,
but if you have pass thingy, you're probably seeing a movie every weekend already. That's the only way that pass is worth it.
Yeah, I would also say like go on the discount day or whatever. I'm sure pretty much every theater has a discount day at this point, or maybe wait for it to be in. I think there's like discount theaters too. You can do that. I think it was fun enough. I wasn't like mad that I watched it because I think there's good stuff, and I think Lakeith Stanfield needs more good stuff. He was in Get Out, and he was in this movie called Judas and the Black Messiah, which Daniel Kaluuya won an Oscar for that movie, but Lakeith Stanfield was great in that movie. People should watch that movie. All right. So yeah, that's a 6. And I would say go ahead and check it out, or just wait to watch it on Disney Plus.
It'll be there in like a month. It'll definitely be there for Halloween.
Oh yeah, it'll be there ready for Halloween, and I think it will probably do well for Halloween.
Yeah, it's almost like it should have just released.
Well, it was going to, and they moved it up because they moved back the Marvels. The Marvels was supposed to come out this weekend.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Both those movies are doing bad anyways.
But just imagine that coming out, the Marvels coming out after Barbenheimer here.
This.
Yeah, that would have really crushed it.
Yeah, it probably would have been. It just would have been the show all over again. The show that just came out, the Disney show with.
Yeah,
no one's talking about it.
Oh yeah, Secret Invasion. I forgot that I watched it.
Exactly.
You just brought it up, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I watched that." Yeah, the season finale came out, and people talked about it for about 5 minutes, and then went, "Oh, you know." Yeah, I wouldn't say. So all the Marvel shows on Disney Plus, it's like the 4th episode leads up to a really, really good 5th episode, and then the 6th episode, the finale, is always like wah wah.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what happens.
I think I will give it a watch. That'll be the next thing I watch. I've been watching Ted Lasso season 3.
Yeah,
I don't know. You might be seeing a triple hat trick or whatever they call it.
Oh, good.
It's quite good. I don't think it's as good as the first 2 seasons, so maybe it won't win. I still think it's a great show, and I still think season 3 is really good. It's just not as good as the first 2. I still have the last episode to watch. So we'll see it, because this is the finale. They're not making any more seasons, so we'll see how they end it. But yeah, it's still a good show this season. So I'd still say the whole series is definitely worth the watch. It is a very funny show, but also a very emotional show at the same time.
Well, we'll see. There's newcomers in that Emmy conversation, like The Bear. So we'll see what happens. So we saw a few trailers in front of Haunted Mansion. For some reason, the Haunting in Venice trailer played twice. It was weird. Must have been a mess. Yeah. I was like,
it's like an L if you see that once.
I don't know. Maybe it might be a good movie. Just trailers are not great.
You know. I'm just making fun of it.
So there was the trailer for Migration that came out. The next movie from Illumination. You did check out that trailer?
Yeah. Maybe I'll play that tonight when I want to fall asleep.
Oh, really? Huh? You're not excited for the next Awkwafina movie where she plays a bird?
You were going to take it there. And no. Why is she in every animated movie all of a sudden?
I think it's funny that she plays an animated bird. She's played an animated bird at least a couple times.
She played animated all kinds of animals at this point. And it's just like, I don't know. I've gotten kind of out of control with just having famous people play parts in animated roles just for the name, familiarity. Should go back to the good old days where Like before, I feel like Aladdin kind of started it, but before Aladdin, they just were using good singers and kind of like you didn't have a name attached to them. Those were the good
Yeah.
days.
I just like the Aquafina bird voice universe. This is her third movie that she is voicing a bird, which I think is funny.
What are the other two?
She was in Storks, if you remember that movie.
Yeah, I never finished it.
And then she was late in Little Mermaid. She was the bird.
Yeah.
And she sings that terrible song. All right. Yeah. So and then I will say that I thought this trailer was pretty good though. It was I laughed. I thought it was cute. Really? Okay. Maybe you're just a grumpy guy.
I guess.
I don't know. I thought it looks cute and funny. And I actually do like the people that are doing the voices in it.
Yeah, who was the main guy? I remember.
Kumail.
Yeah.
Kumail Nanjiani.
He's a funny guy. It just looks really like kid oriented. Maybe it'll do well with the kids, but it just looks so like basic kind of comedy for kids. And
yeah, I guess maybe that works for me. Maybe I'm easier to please.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all. That there's a market for that. It's just I don't. If it doesn't like make me think at all, it's just like, why am I even watching this?
Yeah, I get it.
If I don't want to think, I'll go like listen to music or something. Yeah,
I totally get it. Well, what gets you to think? The Great Escaper? Does that get you thinking?
Hopefully that movie's not long.
Oh, really?
It looked pretty slow.
Oh, well, yeah, but
that's the point. But, yeah.
That's gonna get you though. That's for sure.
I mean, it's definitely a tearjerker. So
that looks super cute. We'll definitely check that one out. Like Michael Caine. I don't think Michael Caine gets enough love because he's pretty awesome. So, but it's coming out like later in the year, in the fall sometime. It's about a guy who was in World War II and he's going back to the beaches of Normandy to like relive his
dad.
Yeah, of course he's Austin Powers' dad. He was in those movies back in the day. That's why Mike Myers had him in Austin Powers. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's played like a spy character before that kind of helped inspired Austin Powers. That's why he put him in that movie as his father.
Wasn't he in the one where they are like British spies? Obviously not 007, but the one that has crazy robots in the second one and the whip guy. Wasn't he in the original one?
Yeah, he's in Kingsman. Yeah, he's in the first one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he plays like a spy guy.
Yeah, he's good in that movie.
Yeah, he's been in so much, so we'd be here all day listening to stuff.
He's in The Dark Knight, Batman's. He's Alfred.
Yeah, that was the first thing I thought of, but.
Yeah, Austin Powers' dad is what I think of too. He's also in Now You See Me. He's in that movie. He's in.
Yeah, we don't mention that one. No, that one's not very good.
That's a good movie.
No, it's not.
I don't care what anybody says. I like
that
movie.
Just like Magic or something. Maybe
I like Magic. I like Magic, but I think that was a decent movie. I don't think people give credit for that movie. It's not. I don't think it's bad.
Make it slightly above average.
I also like heist movies. I like.
Me too.
how they show.
I'll go watch Ocean's 11, 12 with you right now.
Yeah, I don't mind those movies either. I always like a new heist movie. I'll see any heist movie. I like movies that just end up being a heist movie.
Yeah.
So yeah. There was a movie recently that I watched that was like it just ends up being a heist movie randomly. I don't remember what it was though.
Kind of what Dungeons and Dragons kind of was a heist movie. And
Yeah.
like steal something.
Yeah. Anyway, Michael Caine's great. I'll definitely watch that movie. And then we got some trailers for some TV shows. The Morning Show, third season of The Morning Show. They showed that John Hamm's going to be on there and some other famous people. I don't quite know what the big angle of this season is, because the first two seasons had like an angle. Yeah. The first one was the Me Too and the second one was COVID, which is blah. But I don't know what the angle is on this one, so we'll see. I like the show though. The show's good. Yeah. The second season was fine. And then of course it wraps it up very nicely at the end for me. That show really good at doing the season finale. I don't know, because like the second season I was like, I don't know, we'll see, and then the finale is like, oh man, the show's good, and I don't understand how they do that, but they do it really well. There's one little part, well, it's not a little part, it's a big part, but at the end of season 2 that I'm like, not my, that wouldn't have been my choice, but you know. So yeah, but I think it looks pretty good, and it comes out soon. So
I mean, I really like all the characters in that show. There's not like one when they're on screen I'm like annoyed. The two leads, Legally Blonde girl and Friends girl, are great actresses. They work really well together. And the guy who's like the boss is by far my favorite on the show. He does a great job.
Good. Yeah. Billy Crudup. Yeah, good stuff.
I would love to see where the three characters end up. I would say after the season they should probably end it. I don't think they should keep going with it.
I think we'll see how this season works, and then maybe
I could see them doing like spin-off stuff, and I've heard that they're thinking of doing spin-off stuff with Ted as well, which are both Apple TV stuff. I wouldn't want to see it from either one because I don't think they'll last. So just write a good ending, let it be done, move on to something else.
You say you want more spin-offs like Gen V, which is the spin-off of The Boys?
Yeah. At first I was like, man, this looks kind of goofy. I don't know if it doesn't have those people. Is it the same people making it? Do you know?
I would assume so.
I don't know.
I can look for sure.
The studio's just like, this is popular, give it to somebody else and do a spinoff, and it doesn't do as well. But by the end of the trailer, I was like, you know what, I might give that a try, but it does look like the craziness that the original show's known for. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I felt the same way before the last season where I was like, I don't know if I want to get into that. And then once I started watching, I was like, this is pretty great. So
I think the creator is different of this show, but I think the people are involved, obviously. Mm-hmm. The some of the writing, team there, then the other people are executive producers and stuff, but no, it's not the same people technically.
That's what I thought I would do. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. It's just a whole bunch of new characters that I gotta.
Yeah, the new cast has got to be very like charismatic. That's really the only thing. And if
I
they're
have not
not,
seen
the show
any of
won't.
them before.
Yeah. I really wasn't sold on them in the trailer, but the action and stuff, it looks pretty interesting.
The only person that I know in the show is Arnold Schwarzenegger's son.
Wow.
And that's just because he's somebody's kid. That's the only reason I've seen him before.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Could be crappy. Who knows?
I think that'll be one I check out regardless. So I'll probably talk about it if we don't end up reviewing.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna wait until see what the reviews are. I just really hope it doesn't like I have to watch this stupid show for the boys.
I don't think that'll be the case.
I certainly hope not. Yeah. There was a trailer for Only Murders in the Building as well. The new season starts on my birthday. It's the best day of the year, August 8th. We're coming up to our birthday month here, Andrew. Very exciting. Well, maybe we'll have to do something special for our birthday episodes. So
or not.
Well, maybe just mine and yours can be boring.
That's fine.
It looks pretty good. You got new cast members. You got Paul Rudd. You got Meryl Streep. So, and then lots and lots of guest stars, I'm sure. I think the show is really good. Second season wasn't as good as the first season, but still a good show.
I know, because I stopped halfway through it and I haven't gone back to it. I literally was watching and I forgot about it.
Yeah. Well, I think this season looks like it's going to be surrounded about a play that Oliver Michael Martin Short's character is putting on, and Steve Martin's character is in the play, and then Selena Gomez is there. So,
yeah, and her acting is not the greatest.
Yeah, so it's I guess it's Only Murders near the building because it's not in the building
anymore.
Yeah, so we'll see. I definitely like the show, and I love a murder mystery.
It keeps the same spirit, and if they're going to throw in a bunch of guest stars, then it should be good.
I think a murder mystery and a heist. I'm either anything. Give me. I'll take any of them, even bad ones. I find interesting for some reason. So we'll see. All right, Andrew, we are halfway through the year, and I thought, why not? Let's give our top fives of the year so far, because we're halfway. We're not going to do a full top 10. We're going to do a top 5 because that's half of 10.
So it is.
Yeah. So how do you want to do it? Do you want to just give top 5? Do you want to stop from 5, go to 1? What do you think?
5, go to 1, and we alternate. You can go first.
All right. My number 5 is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Spider-Man. Is that on your top 5?
For sure. But it is a shame that it is only number 5 on your list.
All right. So we'll talk about it more later. I thought the movie was pretty good. I think the part one-ness of it kind of affects it for me, and I think I liked the first one more. I've had lots of time to marinate on that movie, and I don't love the not getting the full complete story feeling that I get with. I know it's rated very well and everyone loved it, thought it was it the greatest movie of all time, but it wasn't wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination. I just liked other movies.
I mean, it's in your top 5. It's in your top 5. I mean,
my top
you're not saying
5.
it's a
My
bad
top
movie.
5 are very like close to each other for me. They're not like, it's like, butt hair, tiny little, between them most of them anyway. All right, what's your number 5?
So I'm actually at a tie right now. I have.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't think either of these two are going to be in my final top 10 as long as there's some good stuff that comes out the rest of the year.
Which one did you like more? You have to pick one.
Okay, if I only have to pick one,
unless this is 4 and 5
of the Galaxy.
Okay,
no,
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Just fine.
All right, well, we can talk about that because it's not in my top 5.
Oh, wow. Okay. I know you were disappointed with the movie.
Yeah.
The only reason it's really in my top 5 is because I didn't really like anything else as much as that one. So it's just, there were some. Honestly, if I could have come here with a top 4, I would have come here with a top 4.
Guardians isn't in my top 10.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's just not fun for me. But there's things that I like about that movie. The movie's good, well-made movie. There's lots of movies this year that were well-made, but I don't necessarily like an enormous fan of them. So we'll see how I'm feeling. Maybe I'll change my mind on it, but I don't know. So my number 4 is Barbie.
I'm a Barbie girl. Okay.
And I gave my full thoughts on that movie last week, so you can listen to that. But I thought it was a good movie, and it was a movie that I had lots of time. I thought I wanted to marinate on it, and there's not a lot of it that I didn't like, other than the ending, really. And thinking about it more, and if you just kind of take it for what it is, I think you're going in for like a fun comedy. You're not thinking about these things that much. And I think if you go in with kind of like these things are just happening, like they're coming from a Barbie world into the real world. Like, I don't know. I just had a good time with the movie. I'm glad that Ryan Gosling is getting the love that he should get, because I think he was pretty underrated before, because he's good in pretty much everything. I don't think there's anything that I've seen with Ryan Gosling that I didn't like.
Yeah. There's too many Ryan Gosling haters out there, I guess.
Like I said with Michael Caine, like Ryan Gosling. Well, first of all, he's in The Notebook, which is like one of the best romantic movies
of our generation. Really,
I think it's one of the best romantic movies ever. I would rather watch The Notebook than watch Titanic. So
yeah, I like them both. That's a tough decision for me.
I would take, isn't it? It's Rachel McAdams, right?
Yep.
I would take Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams over Leo and Kate Winslet.
I would definitely, yeah. If we're talking couples here, yeah.
No, I just like actors. Like, I like Leo, but
no, I thought they were both great. I don't think one's better than the other. They do great performances in both movies. I will say I think Titanic was probably a harder ship to sail than The Notebook, but as far as the movie goes,
I don't know. I feel like The Notebook movie hits me much more than Titanic does.
I guess it's a more relatable story.
Yeah.
than the Titanic. I mean, not everyone was on the Titanic, obviously. So
Anyway, he's in The Notebook. He's in The Nice Guys with Russell Crowe. He plays Neil Armstrong in First Man. He
never
was.
seen it.
I like him in action movies. He's good in. He was good in The Gray Man. La La Land. He's in two great romantic movies, actually. Yeah, he can. For me, he can do it all. I'm happy with Barbie being my number 4. What's your number 4?
Just so we're clear, Barbie ain't on my list.
I know. I'm not stupid.
My number 4. I'm pretty sure it came out this year. If it did, I really hope it did because I want this to be my number 4. Maybe I don't think I could go higher, but I did enjoy this movie. A Man Called Otto is my number 4.
Yeah, it's tough for me on that. I did put it on last year's because it like technically came out in
yeah, but I didn't see it till this year, I'm pretty sure.
No, we did. We talked about it on the show. We talked about it in January. But it technically came out in December of last year. So I don't have it on my list. Because there's a couple movies like that. There's a movie called Living and A Man Called Otto, which are weirdly about similar things. And they're both really, really good. And you should check out both movies. But A Man Called Otto is a very good movie. Tom Hanks is Tom Hanks. So, yeah, that's a good movie. And I'm glad that you liked it that much.
Yeah, it was a great movie. And it's like he's such a good actor, you forget that he's Tom Hanks. He's that character in the movie.
Yeah, I agree. No, it's a good movie. Good, cute movie. I like that movie.
I don't know if I call it cute, but yeah.
I think the stuff with his wife is cute. For me, I still think that was cute.
Okay.
Anyway,
that was my number 4, so you're number 3.
That was number 4. So I'm number 3. My number 3 is John Wick Chapter 4.
Hey, it actually made the top 5.
Yeah, it was my number 1 until a couple movies came out.
You were such a hater on it.
I just knew that you were gonna like it no matter what, even if the movie of the movie's
sure
horrible.
You gave it an 8.
Yeah, it's like 8.5 for me.
Yeah, you said 8. You're getting Barbie like an 8.5. I'm pretty sure you gave Dungeons and Dragons higher on your list.
Yeah, yes, it is.
Okay, I'm glad John Wick is there.
Yeah, John Wick is number 3. I think the top 3 will be pretty strong to move around after the fact. Like when I put Barbie in there, I was like, where am I going to put it? Because I don't think I'm going to put it in the top 3. So I was like, probably going to be 4. So yeah, my top 3 are pretty cemented right now, unless something comes in and really, really blows me away.
For me as well, I feel like I don't think it's going to change.
So we can talk about John Wick more because I'm sure it's like number 1 for you or something. So, all right. So what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Spider-Man.
All right. So what did you like about it so much?
I think I'll enjoy this movie even more when the second part does come out. I do agree with you. It kind of sucks that, because like if you go to like Infinity War and Endgame, Infinity War definitely felt like it had an ending. This one, it doesn't feel like it has an ending, and it leaves you wanting more. Which I think is what they went for, obviously. But it does hinder it, and then the beginning is very kind of explainy.
Yeah.
Because it's a 2-parter, so they're setting it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that I've had time to marinate on it, it probably is more of like a 9 for an overall movie. Um, but for me, it's still a 10. I still really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it's a good movie. I like the stuff with Gwen. The stuff with her dad is good.
Mhm.
For some people it wasn't great, but for me, I liked it. I think, yeah, I like the smaller story. I like the first one probably more because it's just them coming to his world, not him going through the multiverse.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my thing. It's just, yeah, I have problems. And yes, I like you said, maybe when the part two comes out, I might feel differently. But
Yeah, I'll say, I mean, sequels are pretty hard to do, especially when the first one was already such a smash hit.
yeah,
Like, basically almost like I don't want to say cult classic because it did better than that. But to
I
come out and it still be that good, even though it wasn't the start of it, is still pretty
I
good.
know, I know one thing. The first movie came out, made $400 million, and everyone was saying, "Oh my God, it's gonna make a billion gajillion dollars." It's not, probably not even gonna double its money from the first one. It's probably gonna make like $700 million.
It was at like 60 or something, I thought.
Maybe.
I mean, it's pretty close to doubling its money.
Well, people are saying that it's going to triple its money. It's going to make $1 billion
I
or
never
whatever.
thought it's at 675.
Yeah. So
That's still really good.
I know it did well, but
I think the next one's going to even do better.
Yeah, that's how it works. The second one does much better than the first, and then the third one, if it's good, blows the door off.
Yeah.
That's how it normally works. No movie does decently and then makes a billion, like makes 500 and then makes $1 billion. That just doesn't happen. No movie has ever done that, pretty much.
I mean,
other than
it's also an animated movie, so I would say it has some hurdles to jump.
That's what I'm saying. People were disagreeing with me, thinking that it was going to make like $1 billion. I'm just like, it's just not happened.
I don't know who did that, but
people I work with and stuff like that. I'm happy it did well. It's a very good movie. Just think other things are better. Okay, so that was your number 3.
Mm-hmm.
My number 2 is Dungeons and Dragons.
Mm-hmm.
That's not on your list, I guess.
So it would probably make my top 10 of the year, but it didn't make my top 5.
Yeah, I really liked this movie. I don't know why. But it was fun and funny, and there's good action, and the actors
think you liked
good.
it more because you expected absolutely nothing from this movie.
Yeah, that's true.
And so
it didn't make very much money.
You were surprised. Yeah,
but I saw it more than once, so I had time to, and I had a rewatch, and I don't know, the jokes land for me. The moments hit for me. The plot is good. The people are funny. The acting is good. The character relationships, I feel like, are developed well. The world seems fun. So, yeah.
I agree with you on some of those things. A lot of those things are just cliches that they've done in other things. And I know I play so many fantasy games, and I've done Dungeons and Dragons. So this is kind of normal for me, I guess. I don't know. Maybe that's why I didn't enjoy it more.
I did like talking to people that played Dungeons and Dragons, and then they kind of like lit up when they were talking about the movie. They're like, "Hey, that's in the game and everything." And I appreciate that people act like it's like normal people. That's not the right way to say it. Other people that are not familiar with the game had a good time, and then people that liked the game liked it even more, which makes me happy. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they took a property and then they did justice by it. It wasn't just using the name. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good movie. Chris
I
Pine,
thought,
like having him do well because I like Chris Pine. So
yeah, I think that when to compare it to something else, I thought it did bringing a game to life better than it did Mario did, in my opinion.
okay, that is an opinion. I will say I'm sure. You know
Mario
what?
in your top five? Is Mario in top five?
No. So
That's what I thought.
and but the thing is, one is a board game and one's a video game.
I mean, Dungeons and Dragons not only a board game.
Well, and then
but,
also Mario has so much more stuff into it. I feel like Mario has like games and music.
I mean, that doesn't mean it should hurt the film. It could have still been an interesting film.
I think it's an unfair comparison. That's all I'm saying. But
I mean, they're both games. I mean,
and you cannot. I cannot disagree that I like Dungeons and Dragons more than Mario.
Okay.
All right. The different kind of movies. Anyway, what's your number 2?
My number 2, I think I'm gonna put John Wick at number 2.
Okay, well, mine's at 3 and yours is at 2. So, are we gonna have the same number 1? We shall see. Probably.
I mean,
so John Wick's number 2. Okay. Why did you? What made it your number 2?
Honestly, the number 1 and the number 2 are pretty interchangeable for me, but you were going to get mad at me if I didn't make up my mind and put one in a place.
Yeah.
So my number 1 could go in the number 2 spot in my mind. I think they're, right there with each other. But overall, I think my number 1 choice just had a better story to tell. And John Wick is just like, my wet dream of action. So.
Yuck. All right. John Wick was really good. Honestly, like the set pieces were so good. Like the Arc de Triomphe and the stairs, and the dragon's breath thing. Honestly, that dragon's breath thing makes it in the top 10 alone. Just awesome. And that was just the best made John Wick movie, like
cinematically,
yeah. Everything about it was better. And there's a reason why people want a stunt category in the Oscars now because of John Wick, pretty much.
Yeah.
So yeah, very good movie, definitely. And it was fun to watch it in the theater. Yeah. So
yeah. For you, John Wick at number 3, that's a tough barrier to break, I'd say. For something to go above John Wick for the rest of the year. You were saying your top 3 wasn't going to
my top 3, yeah. Like I said, I think if anything will do it, it will be something in a different vein completely. Something that hits me emotionally in my, like, there's a movie about a theater camp out right now. I'm sure if I saw it and it's good, it's probably going to be in there because that's, if there's any movie that was made for me, it's that. But I haven't seen it. So, and there's probably going to be a drama, like A Man Called Otto probably will be in there. And there's other like I liked Air, this movie Sisu. Those are other good movies that are there. What would be your sixth one?
I had Extraction.
Oh, great. Okay. Well, I'm glad you picked the one that you did.
Yeah.
Okay. So my number one is Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1.
That
is that your number one?
My numero uno as well.
So Spider-Man, I felt like was like a part 1, and I was like, okay, end. I think Fast X did the same thing. It just like ends and just leaves you on a cliffhanger or whatever. This movie had a beginning, middle, and end for me. That's why, as a part 1,
it basically ends the same way with a cliffhanger.
But it sets up a new mission. It's not like, okay, we're just gonna stop here, if that makes sense. For me, that's how I felt.
It could have easily kept going. I don't think it's any different from the other two.
It felt like a rounded out movie for me. A story was told in the movie. It's my number one movie so far this year. Action was great. I really liked the train at the end. I don't know. There's something about that movie that I liked a lot. I felt like it moved the whole time. The airport with the bomb and all that stuff was good. The driving handcuffed was funny to me when he gets in the car and he's like, sorry, they do it differently every time. Gotta figure out what I'm doing. Pretty good stuff. Haley Atwell doing a great job in that. Just kind of steals the show on that movie, but good stuff. I don't
think she stole the show, but she was a great addition.
Okay. I thought she was pretty good. Really good.
It's my number one movie. I'm not disagreeing with you.
Somehow Tom Cruise is back in the conversation again, even though I felt like he just he had removed himself from that talk of big movie stars, and because he had made some bad movies, and then all of a sudden it's just like he found the people that he can make good movies with again. So yeah.
Just is what it is. I mean, good for him.
Yeah,
I like seeing good movies from him. So
yeah. AI is a little weird for me, but that's the only thing that hurts that movie.
I know you think Mission Impossible Part 1 is better, but do you think Mission Impossible Part 2 will be better than Spider-Man Part 2?
That's a good question.
See? Because Spider-Man has more setup for the next thing. You really don't know what's going to happen in Part 2 for Mission Impossible.
This is the conversation we had with Endgame and Infinity War. Just because Infinity War is so good doesn't make Infinity War a spectacular, fantastic, can't believe it film. It is a good movie, but just because the Part 2 is good, that doesn't mean Part 1 is now 100% better, if that makes sense.
That is what that means.
I think it's always nice to have a good payoff. And because like a season finale of a show doesn't always make the rest of if you had a crappy show, the rest of the show doesn't mean the show as a whole is phenomenal. You know what I mean? So it's not, you can't just base it just on things. And I don't know. But yes, I think very possible that the Part 2 of Spider-Verse could be better than Part 2 of Mission Impossible.
We'll see.
Also, I think Part 2 of Spider-Verse will not be the end of Spider-Verse stuff, I think.
But I don't think it'll be the end either, but hopefully it is an end to, what we have started.
But they're saying Mission Impossible is the end, the last one they're doing. So, like, that's the
what
end.
They say.
That's what they say, but we'll see. Well, I don't know. It's not making that much money, so because of Barbenheimer, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Oh well.
I mean, I would assume that part 2 is for sure going to be in the can. We're getting that movie. Maybe not after that. Yeah.
They filmed most of it.
Yeah.
At like back to back. So they obviously have a direction they're going in.
For sure.
So yeah, that's our top 5s for the year so far. We agreed on 2 of them.
Most of them. Well, maybe not like
3 of them. John Wick, Spider-Man.
The top 3. Or yours was number 5.
Yeah.
Spider-Man was your number 5.
Yeah.
I didn't agree on.
I had Barbie and Dungeons and Dragons, and you had A Man Called Otto, which I would probably be in my top 5 if I counted that into this year.
Included it. Yeah.
And then, Guardians, which is not in my top 5. All right, cool.
I think Guardians was like the first time I've ever like given a higher score than you.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
I almost always am like a point below you or 2 points below you. I'm almost never ahead of you.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd say maybe like John Wick and Spider-Man.
Yeah, I
will say I'm a little biased on those ones.
Well, you're biased with action always and forever. You said Extraction. You thought about Extraction too. Like, oh god.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, I don't think either of those films by the end of the year will even be in my top 10. I just
Extraction 2 is probably not even in my top half of the movies I've seen so far this year. I've seen 33 movies so far this year.
You see a lot more movies than me, man.
I think you've seen quite a few movies, and I think you could find a couple that are better than Extraction 2. You're just a poop about certain things. You think that Dungeons and Dragons is worse than Extraction 2 is freaking insane. Extraction 2's plot is completely worthless.
Yeah,
it doesn't even
matter. Is way better.
Oh my god. All right. Whatever. Weirdo. All right.
Let's remember what I gave Dungeons and Dragons.
It's interesting. We did a top 5, and the movie that we're talking about today wasn't in the conversation at all. So that gives me some hope. Today, we're talking about Oppenheimer, directed by Christopher Nolan. It made a bajillion dollars so far. Let's see if it makes a bajillion to make it into the top 5 of the summer, top 5 of the year, maybe. Because not a lot of movies have been blowing the doors off this year. What'd you think of this movie overall?
This is a tough one because it's such a... There's so much film in this, right? 3-hour movie. People who don't like long movies are going to, be looking at their watch.
I am okay with long movies. I need a justification why this movie needs to be the length that it is.
What's
this
a movie like that's long? That's like 2 hours and 50 minutes. I guess John Wick was pretty long.
John Wick, Mission Impossible is 2 hours and 45 minutes. And I did not feel the length on Mission Impossible because it blew by. Mm-hmm. This movie is a lot of talking in rooms, dudes talking to each other for 15 minutes. There's scenes that are completely unnecessary for me to the plot. There's full characters that didn't need to be in the movie. I think this movie's an hour too long. It's because I'm thinking about his. I went through his filmography and I looked at his earlier movies that were like 2 hours long, and I was like, because they're tight and they're good. They don't need to be that long. It does not need to be 3 hours long. I think you could have told his story in 2 hours or two and a half.
I hear what you're saying.
Mission Impossible was 2 hours 45 minutes. What else? Spider-Man was really long.
Spider-Man's that long.
It's like 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's not long.
That's a pretty decent size movie.
I don't know. I will never complain about a 3-hour movie. I love to, like Avatar, I love to deep dive into any kind of lore. Anyone that goes through the time to make that long of a movie, I'll listen. I do hear you that there definitely could have been things that could have been cut to make this, cleaner and not so long. But it's obvious that he wanted to make it this long. He wanted to tell every little minute detail. And he's just... Not every director is going to get away with something like that. He's one of the few that can get away with it and be successful with it. I don't know. I probably would have liked it a shorter movie, but I can't say it was like bad because of it, though.
In the middle, I texted you in the middle of the movie and I said, I don't want to be here. Like, I don't want to be here anymore. Mm-hmm. And you told me too bad or whatever.
I said, deal with it.
I will say that I didn't really need his backstory. Oppenheimer's backstory that much wasn't super important.
I agree. I think that was the weakest part of the film, was the beginning.
So the things that I liked about it, they showed like how a genius's mind's working, how they're thinking about things, and like they're showing how his mind worked and how it kept him up at night and stuff like that. They do that in pretty much any genius, though. We watched it in The Bear. There's a scene where she's like thinking about cooking and she has to write down her idea. Like, I think that's a thing that any genius in whatever they're doing, you have that. You see how their mind works. I liked how they showed how his mind worked, but I didn't need all of that in the movie. I didn't need like his whole life. I like
the movie's called Oppenheimer.
But
the movie doesn't end after he makes the bomb, which is his greatest accomplishment. The movie ends at the end of his life.
We don't watch him die or anything, but
he's really old.
I'm sorry, but the part that's important is the bomb.
I agree with you, but the point, he's trying to give you his life story. It's almost like a documentary, this movie.
I know. And who doesn't love a 3-hour documentary,
Apparently a lot of people do.
People just seeing this movie because it's about the atomic bomb. People like Christopher Nolan. I think if he made a 3-hour movie about something else, it wouldn't do as well. Just how it is.
I don't know about that.
And the Barbenheimer thing really, really helped it. I think it really helped Oppenheimer. I think Barbie did well, and it definitely helped Oppenheimer up more. I think it helped Oppenheimer more than it helped Barbie.
I think it helped it equally.
Okay.
You cannot have one without the other.
Well, you can, but Anyway,
you can, but you can't have that up the Barbenheimer, whatever the heck it's called. You cannot have.
Oh, well, that's true. Yeah. All right. So we can talk about the actors here. I liked the 3 guys that I liked. What's his name? How do you say his name? Cillian Murphy? whatever that guy,
I think
Oppenheimer,
it's Killian.
Cillian Murphy, Robert Downey Jr., Matt Damon, all do really good job. Matt Damon gets to do. Matt Damon has had quite a year for me. He's in this, and he's in Air, and he's like a funny character in both.
You're gonna say you disliked the wife. I already know.
I'm gonna talk about the female characters as a clump. Okay. We'll get to the female characters in this movie. So all three I liked a lot. Robert Downey Jr. doing something I think
different,
not completely different than he's done before, because I've seen other movies that he's done other than Iron Man. So
fair enough.
But he is a good actor. It's just any way you slice it. I think some of this movie was a little dramatic in their delivery of several people's delivery in this movie. But I think Cillian Murphy does a lot of. He's in most of this movie. It's called Oppenheimer. He plays Oppenheimer, so he's in a lot of this movie. There's very little without him in it. Oh, Josh Hartnett does a good job, and I think he has to play from like college age to like an old man. Well, not an old man, but older. Yeah, he plays an old man at the end. But yeah, so he does a very good job. But I think if you watch Peaky Blinders or whatever, you know he's a good actor, right? I just think none of...
Just because someone acts good in something else doesn't detract from them acting good in this film.
That's true. I think these are good actors, and they're doing a good job being good.
They live up to the name.
I would say that is what the strength of this movie is. The acting, is the character work, and some of the plot beats. So we'll talk about I want to talk about the female characters. The female characters are there. Florence Pugh's character is not necessary to this movie for me. That's movie,
the first lady, right?
That is Florence Pugh is the blonde lady. It's not Emily Blunt.
Not his wife. It wasn't his wife, but his first lover, you would say.
Yes. Not necessary to the movie. This movie is rated R because of
that scene.
Certain scenes that surround a topic that lots of people don't like to talk about, and then nudity. Those are the reasons why it's rated R. They had a sex scene. She did not need to be naked. Like, she could have worn a shirt or something, or a night dress or something.
Just showing it at a different angle or something.
She did not need to be naked. This movie did not need to be rated R. I think it's unnecessary and it's kind of annoying. I
will say I would have disagreed with you, but then they even do it like when he's in the small courtroom. It wasn't a courtroom, but I know what you're talking about. I would agree with you there. Mm-hmm.
I don't think even her character was really necessary for me. The
character's there because he is being accused of being a communist, and that was like one of the biggest links of him being one.
Yeah, but I think you could have inferred that they were having an affair. They didn't need to have that in it. And I think
we're kind of going in a spoiler. I keep wanting to mention stuff.
You know what I mean? I feel like there's things that you can infer about you. I
agree with you. They didn't need to show it.
I think he's a better director than we need. I think if everyone says this guy is the best director of our time or whatever, I think you could weave these things in a way that you don't have to just show her tits, and there's just like, it's just unnecessary for me. And I feel like the female characters really don't have anything to do other than, oh, I had an affair with her, or I cheated on my wife, I'm kind of a sucky person. It's like,
I think the Emily Blunt's character had a much bigger role, so I'll disagree with you on that.
I also think she had not much to do until she was like, she's like whining, naggy. Oh my gosh. And it's almost like to make the female character like, oh gosh, stop complaining about him cheating on you. Gosh, so annoying. And then she like doesn't turn on him.
Felt that way. I never.
That's how it felt to me. And yeah, and then it being Emily Blunt doesn't help me. But she did a good job.
Like she was the only one near the middle-ish to end. She was like telling him, nut up. You need to, take control, own up to the things you've done, sort of thing. And she ended up kind of being a rock for him by the end. But at the beginning, she was very lost and had to find herself and was drinking and whatnot. So,
yeah. And I don't know.
I never thought she came across like annoying, go away or anything like that.
For me, she did. Not until like the last 45 minutes did I not feel that way about her. So that's 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Well, like for the first 45 minutes, she's not even in it. So.
She's there. She's behind him sitting. She's sitting on a couch during whole scenes.
She's there. But she's not talking yet until she comes into the story because they go from the beginning of his life to the end.
There is so many random people in this movie. Characters that come in. Guy. So we have Josh from Drake and Josh. He's in it. Mm-hmm. The guy from Sky High. And also Roderick, the guy who played Roderick in Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the older brother. That guy.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, why? I was like, did he love, Nickelodeon and Disney, I guess, from our time, I guess. He's like, yeah, these are the guys I want. And that, for me, for an adult, for an older guy, probably doesn't take you out of the movie. For me, it takes me out of the movie. It's like, why are all these guys in here? Casey Affleck is in there. I thought Casey Affleck was like canceled. Like, there's a lot of terrible allegations against him. Casey Affleck's the one where he plays a bad guy that does some things that are bad for people.
So it's the one scene.
The character is unnerving and stuff, but I think it's unnerving because it's Casey Affleck. For me,
none of the casting bothered me because I did recognize them, but it did not bother me.
Yeah, there's just like a lot of like Kenneth Branagh's in this movie, but there's just like, it's just like, oh, they're like, here I am, and then I'm gone, or maybe I'm back for a scene later or something. But I was like, why did you need that to be like a famous person?
I mean, I don't think he was trying to go for famous people or something with those characters. They want to be cast in the movie, and they have to be fulfilled by someone, and they got the part. I think that's all it is.
To me, it felt like stunt casting. Maybe it is, or maybe it wasn't supposed to be that, but that's what it felt like. I'm not talking about like Josh or whatever, but like some, like a Casey Affleck and random, there's other famous people. Gary Oldman plays Truman. It's like, okay. And then he's there and then he's not. For me, overall, this it's a It's a 6.5 for me. Because about 2 hours of this movie, I was like, all right, where are we getting to? And then, the bombs goes off and everything. And then we get into the really interesting stuff, but it just takes too long for it to get there for me. But the finale brings this movie up significantly for me. What about you?
I'm kind of in the same boat. I liked the second act to the end. I would say the bomb part is the second act.
Yeah.
It was all very interesting, and he does a really good job of making tense moments feel tense, and then uncomfortable moments being uncomfortable, and success moments being successful. Essentially, he's really good at setting the tone of the movie, even though the movie's quite long. So it's kind of like intense roller coaster or something of like, because like every single second there's like a loop where he's gonna like put some sound effect that's loud as crap in the middle of a conversation to purposely, kind of make you uncomfortable because it's an uncomfortable scene.
Yeah.
He does that on purpose.
Yeah, I know.
Which I think is good. It really does make me more invested in the film. I say if you watch this movie like on a TV and you're not being like jolted by that and stuff, it wouldn't have exactly the same effect to set kind of the tone of the movie. And I still have to give credit for that. I enjoyed that. I figured I was not going to be interested in the character at all because I just don't care. I don't even care about history at all. So I was interested to see where the character went. I will say the beginning was by far the weakest part for me, but it's kind of setting stuff up and whatnot. But I do agree with most of the points you said. I still think I enjoyed this movie more than you. I think I'm sitting at an 8 on the film. I think it was a very well put together movie. And it's just attracting those 2 points from the beginning for me. And like you said, that woman scene, I'm forgetting her name. Because I liked his wife, but I didn't like the other girl. I'm blanking on her name. If you could repeat it.
Florence Pugh does a good job. I just don't think
she does a good job with what she had.
Yeah, and she's not in it very much.
But I agree with you that scene wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all I have to say without going into spoilers.
Okay, so you're at an 8. I'm at a 6.5. So we're gonna get into spoilers here. I don't have a ton for the spoilers, but because I think I could talk most about it overall without any spoilers. But
well, we're going into spoilers now. Good morning.
Okay, so let's talk about Florence Pugh because we were talking about Florence Pugh. Yeah, so she dies, commits suicide.
Yeah, we don't. It's kind of left open ended. I'm pretty sure she killed herself, is what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's what it suggests. Yeah, she just kind of comes in. She comes in and out a couple times. I know it hinges on his mind and stuff like that, but I just don't think that the character was necessary for me.
I don't think the character could have taken out of the movie entirely, but I will say you don't need the, gratuitous scene because they not only show them doing it at home, and then they go back to the courtroom, and then Emily Blunt's character is like looking at him, but she's like on top of him. That was like too much. Like, we get it.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. I felt like.
Plus, they show her being upset, and she already knew about it. But
yeah, there's plenty of things where, and I point this out when other movies do it too. When they go, this is what the message is. Like I understand what's going on. I understand what they're feeling. But he does other things in this movie, and he does it subtly. So it's weird that some things I just felt like it was exploitative for me.
Yeah, I feel like it's something they do in TV shows a lot, where they like are required to have like a topless nude scene for some reason.
I would say that, but like in a TV show, that is considered like schlocky and stuff. But in this, it's going to be considered like, oh yeah, this, he's, pushing the boundaries with, film, blah, blah, blah. It's just annoying for me.
I don't think it added anything. I agree.
It doesn't add anything for me. So
I don't think they should have taken the character out, though. Just those scenes in particular.
Yeah. I liked the and the Emily Blunt, that scene where she backs up her husband is very good. That is the thing, the Emily Blunt character I like.
I also like at the very end where she doesn't shake the dude's hand because she's like too proud.
Yeah.
It's at the very, very end of the movie.
Yeah,
she's basically like spitting in his face, but not actually spitting in his face.
No, I like that. I just feel like half of her character for me was not that interesting for me. So, so they're weaving these threads throughout the movie, and I was like, why so much? I like, boring. And then the weaving obviously comes to something at the end, and that's what Christopher Nolan does well. It's just, the payoff is always pretty good. I think I would say this is closer to me to like an Interstellar, because there's like, it's really long. That's a long movie, and there's a lot of weaving, and then you got a payoff, right? Mm-hmm. I like Interstellar, but in this movie, I feel like the rest of the stuff in Interstellar was interesting for me, and I'm okay with it, and I'm fine with the rest of it. This one, I wasn't interested enough in the rest of the stuff. Yeah. So this turn on Oppenheimer was interesting, and then that the reveal that it was all orchestrated by Robert Downey Jr.'s character was all good, and then you get all these people to come and be at the board meeting to talk about, can Oppenheimer be cleared or whatever. I
like that. And it was like, you see who betrays him and who doesn't.
Yeah.
And then they get that scene at the end where Einstein basically knew it was all going to happen. You'll see. He was like, he basically tells them exactly what's going to happen. You're going to find out who your like true friends are, basically.
Oh, yeah. But and Robert Downey Jr.'s character is so consumed, he thinks that Oppenheimer's turning people against him, and it started with his conversation with Einstein, but the conversation with Einstein had nothing to do with him.
Nothing to do with him. Yeah.
Nothing to do with much, honestly. Yeah. I don't know. I liked the stuff like that. It's just, it took like 2 hours to get to that.
It took a long time to get there.
I just got tired of watching people in rooms talking to each other. There's great stuff in here. But yeah, it's just too much for me. I agree with you. I just don't think
it brings down the film to a 6 for me. I still think this is much more above.
It's at a 6.5. I think it was lower. I think if the ending wasn't so good, it would be lower, even lower than that. I'm glad that there's a good payoff. If it was just that and it was just like, okay, here's the story,
Not
the
a
end.
good payoff, yeah.
Then I would be even worse. Yeah, I just think I don't even feel like I have a short attention span. I feel like I like slow burn things. So I don't know. I thought this movie was well made.
Yeah.
I would say some things are just not made for some people. I think last week and this week, some things are just not made for everybody, and you're not going to like everything. I think this movie, the Barbenheimer thing, at least both of these movies, you can watch them and people can have a wildly different opinion about the movies. And I think they're both worth a watch just to see, just for you to formulate your own opinion about them. And I think they're both well made. So yeah. You got anything
funny
else?
that you mentioned Interstellar. I'd say like this movie's like in the realm of like a Lord of the Rings type movie. It's very long and a slow burn.
Well, I don't like Lord of the Rings, so
yeah, I know. It's
so okay, I'm fine with that.
It's if you have to enjoy that. Like I really like Interstellar.
That's 3 movies,
but it's also
by the way.
Sci-fi. Yeah, I know it's 3 movies. I even watched The Hobbit once, and I thought those were decent as well.
That was 3 movies too.
Yeah,
I kind of felt like I watched 3 movies in this movie. I felt like one season of Game of Thrones in compressed into 3 hours. So many characters.
Like for Interstellar, for me is like a 9 or a 10 movie. I also like sci-fi, and I liked the journey that they go on before they get to the thing. It's just the first part of the movie that wasn't that great for me. Anyways, we'll wrap it up there.
I think Interstellar is like an 8.
Well, that's good. I think it's a pretty good movie.
I think, yeah, my favorite Christopher Nolan is still The Prestige. Because I feel like that had a big thing to cover, and it was interesting, and it was 2 hours. So, yeah. So I would say
he probably could have made that one longer, though, I'm sure.
He could have, and I'm glad he didn't. Yeah, maybe there would have been, they need to have somebody to be topless for no reason.
Maybe if they had made that movie longer, that movie would be bigger today than it was.
It was just that it came out. It came out between Batman movies. That's and those movies just did so freaking well. It's. I think if he had made The Prestige today, it would be a completely different story.
I got you. All right. Well, we'll see you guys on the next one.
See you later.